Live from KSAT12, the News at Noon starts right now.
A father and son taken away in handcuffs, arrested in connection with the shooting deaths of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra, as well as their unborn baby.
Tiffany Huertas with the latest on the two that are accused for murder and now facing multiple capital murder charges, and why police say drugs are at the heart of the case.
David, Ursula, that's right. Thanks to the arrest affidavits, we've learned more about what led to Savannah and Matthew's deaths and the arrest of 19-year-old Christopher Preciado, who San Antonio police believe is the couple's killer and charged with capital murder, and his father, 53-year-old Ramon Preciado, who police believe helped hide the bodies, charged with abuse of a corpse in the case.
This is the latest of what we've learned about this case. Savannah's family reported her missing to Leon Valley Police on Friday, December 22nd. But San Antonio police have now told us that Savannah and Matthew were killed just before midnight on Thursday, December 21st. SAPD found their bodies 5 days later at an apartment complex on Danny Kaye, in Matthew's car in the parking lot. But police say the complex has no connection to the murders. It's just where the bodies were left. We've been showing the surveillance video that SAPD released last Thursday, but police say the key piece of evidence that led them to the Preciados was Soto's cell phone that was found with the bodies. After following leads for a couple of days, police were eventually led to the Preciados' residence. When officers arrived at the Preciados' house, the father said he knew why they were there, and he and his son were taken into custody. According to the affidavit, 19-year-old Christopher Preciado said Matthew and Savannah drove to his house on Charlie Chan Drive to sell him marijuana, and that Matthew initially pointed a gun at him. However, the investigation states that Christopher's version of events were inconsistent with gunshot wounds to Savannah and Matthew. He claims he wrestled the gun away from both victims and shot them in self-defense. Now, as for the father, 53-year-old Ramon Preciado admitted to driving his truck to the apartment complex after the murders and being the person on the surveillance video. He also placed Christopher as the driver of the vehicle, believed to have belonged to Matthew. Now that the two men are in custody, SAPD says they are working with the Bexar County District Attorney's Office to determine if there will be any further charges since Savannah was pregnant and about to give birth.
Also mentioned in the affidavit was that police learned Matthew Guerra was known to sell drugs and used his phone and Instagram to sell them, and that he had been the target of robberies and shootings before. As for the suspects, we checked records this morning, and 19-year-old Christopher Preciado has no criminal history that we've been able to find. The father, Ramon Preciado, did have some criminal history, but nothing since the 90s. And we've learned that Ramon Preciado's bond was set at $100,000, and his son, Christopher's, has been set at $1 million. We're going to continue to follow this story and bring you any new information that we get on air and online on KSAT12. David, Ursula.
Thank you, Tiffany. News of these arrests and the murders of Savannah Soto and Matthew Guerra bring some sense of closure to people who've been following this case.
Katrina Weber went back to the neighborhood where those bodies of the couple were found, and she tells us why people are now breathing a bit easier there.
Oh, always fake news, huh?
53-year-old Ramon Preciado doesn't want to believe it, but San Antonio police have no doubt that both he and his 19-year-old son, Christopher Preciado, are the men they've been looking for since last week. Suspects in the murders of 22-year-old Matthew Guerra and his pregnant girlfriend, 18-year-old Savannah Soto.
Christopher, we believe, committed the murders of Matthew and Savannah, and then Ramon helped.
The couple was found dead the day after Christmas in a car at this apartment complex on Danny Kaye Drive. Police believe they were killed somewhere else. Then Ramon helped move the bodies.
Who do you have to be? They're just innocent lady with a baby, wasn't even born yet.
Esmeralda Ramirez lives there and has been wondering and worrying about a killer on the loose.
And it was kind of crazy because it was like right by us. And I was like, dang, are we even safe?
According to police, this was not random. They say Christopher Preciado told them he met with the victims not far from there to buy marijuana. Although he says he acted in self-defense, police call this capital murder. You can tell by this display that this is a case that's been weighing on a lot of people's minds here. And with the news of the arrest, at least some of those minds are a little bit more at ease.
I just hope their family gets peace out of that.
Police say more charges, possibly linked to the death of Soto's baby, could be yet to come. Katrina Weber, KSAT12 News.
And no court date has been set for either father or son at this time. And new at noon, we are now learning more details in the murder case of a 6-year-old girl. She has been identified as Hosanna Sancho, and a relative of hers, Nefertiti Sancho, is now facing a capital murder charge of a child under 10.
Our Erica Hernandez following this disturbing story, joining us now live in the studio. So, Erica, what have you been able to find out about this case so far?
Yeah, well, according to online court records, Nefertiti Sancho was on community supervision parole for a 2010 injury to a child conviction. We now have her mugshot. She was arrested yesterday at the scene of the crime and has been charged, like you said, with capital murder of a child under 10 and is being held on a $1 million bond. Now, SAPD yesterday afternoon were called to an apartment complex on the southwest side. Neighbors told police a woman was acting erratic, and they discovered the body of 6-year-old Hosanna Sancho and tried to render aid. Police saying that the child had an apparent wound to her upper body, but didn't elaborate what caused that injury. Police also saying the child was a relative of Nefertiti. Sancho was running around naked when police arrived, but they were able to arrest her. Online court records indicate she had been arrested in 2010 for injury to a child, and in 2011 was found guilty by reason of insanity and sent to a state hospital. It is unclear at what point she was released from her treatment, but records indicate her case was last heard in March of last year, and parole was extended for another 12 months. Now, we also reached out to the Department of Family and Protective Services, and they tell me they are working closely with law enforcement on the case, and the family has not had any involvement with them in the last several years. Once the investigation on their end is complete, a public report will be available. David, Ursula, we will continue to follow this case and update as more information is released.
So this case plus the Soto Guerra case makes 2 capital murder arrests in just the last 24 hours. So with these type of cases, what's next legally?
Unfortunately, it's a lot of waiting around, David and Ursula, until an indictment comes in. And that should be within 90 days if they remain in jail. If by chance they do get released on bond, then that process takes a little bit longer for an indictment. That could extend it to 6 to 9 months. But yeah, it'll be a while. And even if the death penalty is pursued in either of these cases, that even takes longer for it to go to trial. So like I said, unfortunately, a lot of waiting until that system kind of kicks in.
When can we expect to see any of these accused in court?
So yeah, it's nothing really happens unless some type of motion is filed in the court for a bond reduction or some type of hearing is needed by the defense attorneys in the case. But until that indictment comes, there won't be any first court appearances until then.
All right. Thank you so much, Erica Hernandez.
A bipartisan win on the border that'll benefit trade and commerce across the nation. That is according to U.S. Senator Ted Cruz and Congressman Henry Cuellar.
They held a joint press conference in Laredo just minutes ago on their efforts to expedite the process for international bridge expansion and construction. Our John Paul Barajas is there. He is live on the border. John Paul.
David, Ursula, this is what it's all about right here. Trucks taking goods to and from Mexico and back and forth. It's exactly what U.S. Senator Ted Cruz and Congressman Henry Cuellar want to see. That's why they're making it easier to expand and build international bridges. They hope that their efforts will help the World Trade Bridge here in Laredo expand from 8 lanes to 18 in the years to come. Now, according to the bipartisan coalition of Texas legislators, they say they're committed to boosting the state's economy and strengthening bilateral relations with Mexico. We're told previously when building cross-country bridges, the process would get slowed down by things like environmental reviews. Now construction is allowed to get conditional permits to keep the ball rolling while the reviews are taking place. Take a listen to what Senator Cruz had to say.
Every year, Texas and Mexico have roughly $800 billion in trade and commerce that comes across this border. That's jobs in Texas. That's jobs in Mexico. That's the lifeblood of South Texas.
Now, you just heard the senator mention more than $800 billion, more than $863 billion between the U.S. and Mexico. And Laredo's bridge here, the World Trade Bridge, handles about 40% of that. They hope that number will increase once they expand these lanes. David, Ursula?
Hey, Pete, just a quick question for just a few months ago, CBP shut down some ports of entry so they could divert personnel and handle that increase in those crossings. So how are more lanes going to impact that?
Yeah, that's right. And one of those ports of entry that shut down was not far from here in Eagle Pass. We asked the congressman Cuellar and Senator Cruz about that. They admitted that more lanes are going to take more personnel, but that they hope with additional funds for more manpower, that'll help. And they also said they are going to fight to make sure none of these ports of entries get shut down again. David?
Thank you so much, JP, reporting live from our southern border. Looking outside, well, you know, we're about to say the same thing.
We're talking the same because we're saying the same thing because it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Where's the sun, Justin?
Well, it peaked up briefly a little bit earlier, but it's going to go away probably the rest of this afternoon, and certainly during the later in the day, we're going to see a lot more cloud cover and maybe some showers starting to pop up. Sun does return, though, tomorrow if you're missing it. Let's take a look at the satellite picture here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. A lot of clouds. Now, there are some breaks as you get east of San Antonio, and that's helped to boost temperatures a little bit today. But you go west of town, it is overcast and chilly. 46 in Kerrville, 43 Rock Springs. We have managed to make it up to 53 here in San Antonio with those few peaks of sun that we were talking about. And Kennedy, where there's a lot more sun, up to 60. It makes all the difference this time of year if you can lose some of those clouds. 54 Castroville, 51 in Rio Medina, 53 right now in New Braunfels. Our forecast today. Clouds will thicken up later today. We'll start to add in some rain chances, especially as we get towards dinner time. That's when we could start to see a few light showers, maybe some drizzle, nothing heavy, but it picks up a little bit overnight. 60% chance of rain. Temperatures hold steady. Low 50s, upper 40s overnight. And as we look at the weather headlines here, drizzle showers later today, so it could be a damp evening commute. Then we get to a great weekend. The sun reappears tomorrow and stays with us all the way through Sunday. And then it turns very windy. That's the other big story. Monday, we could see some gusts to 50 miles per hour. We're going to tell you more about that and that next storm system coming up in just a few minutes.
They have been caught on camera, and San Antonio police now looking for these two people seen on a Ring doorbell camera crashing right into a home in allegedly a stolen car. Happened before 12:30 yesterday afternoon on Sandstone Way. That's near New Sulphur Springs Road. After the two men got out of the car, one of them comes back to the car to get something out of that passenger seat. We also learned there were people inside the house at the time of that crash. No one hurt. Again, police are still looking for these two men. If you know anything about that accident or that incident, you can call police.
And right now, police in Iowa are investigating after multiple people got hurt in a shooting at a high school. This is just as students were headed back to class after the winter break. Officials in Perry, Iowa, have not released the number of injuries or even if anyone has died. We're told the suspect in the case, though, is dead. No other information about the suspect has been released. Perry, about 40 miles northwest of Des Moines.
Now, you just thought high school football season was over. Some future college stars are in San Antonio. We'll talk to some of them coming up in a few minutes.
It has been a tough holiday season for hospitals who depend on blood donations. So much so, the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center is pleading for donors of all blood types. People who give blood or platelets in January will receive an I Donated t-shirt to track life-saving contributions. Those interested in donating can call 210-731-5590. You can make an appointment or just visit southtexasblood.org.
San Antonio has received a gold medal for public health policies. That is according to City Health's rankings of public health policy. San Antonio was one of 7 cities nationwide and the only city in Texas receiving the recognition. City Health reviews and awards the nation's 75 largest cities with gold, silver, bronze, or no medals at all for passing policies that improve the health and well-being of residents. This year, the gold medal recognition is an improvement from last year's overall bronze medal.
Looking outside with live cam, yes, we are at the peak of winter. It's all going to get warmer from here. Next week, it'll be in the 80s again.
We are going to see some back and forth here coming up. Today, it's still on the cool side, though. Cloudy skies, a little warmer than yesterday. And the aquifer still going up from those recent rains, up a tenth of a foot to 639.9. In your pollen count, look at that. Mount Cedar is in a moderate category now. It dropped quite a bit. Probably drops a little bit more because we have more rain in the forecast. We're going to look at that for you and talk about some more chances down the line in the 7-day forecast, too. That's coming up.
Okay, so we're talking about the question of the day. Mike and Fiona have a good one today. I like this question. I just don't have an answer.
Well, we have an answer for you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, before we get to that, yes, of course, the Vaquero Cook-Off is coming up, and
the junior competition as well. This is the Karnes City High School culinary team, better known as just a small town girlies. They're going to be grand champions last year, so we're going to be talking with them and something good to eat. Then after you eat, you have to work it off.
Yeah, possibly work it off.
Yeah.
So we want to know what song pumps you up for a workout. Scan that QR code and let us know. What about you guys? Okay.
we picked one for David.
Oh, yes. Okay, what?
Anything from ABBA.
Oh, that visual in my head.
Money, money, money.
Mamma Mia.
Okay.
I pulled something again. Mamma Mia.
What type of exercises do you do to ABBA?
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't exercise.
Oh, yeah. That's the problem.
Okay.
A lot. I know.
So ABBA it is.
Yeah. Well,
and for me, I get pumped up with Eminem. Lose Yourself.
I thought you were going to say the LSU fight song, but anyway, that's a whole different song. Hey, oh! All right, scan the QR code and we'll get back to you a little bit later on.
ABBA. Mamma Mia, I pulled something.
And for Justin, for Justin, we've decided it's got to be something by Journey.
Journey.
No way. No Journey. No, it's got to be like Metallica. You got to get into the hard rock to really get you pumped up.
9 Inch Nails, something.
You go into the gym now and these kids are playing this stuff you never heard of. And it's like just like thump, 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 bam. It's like, how do you work out to that?
Well,
I guess you do.
Got to give it a try.
I guess.
Got to have some good guitar in there, David. It's just part of it. Let's take a look outside right now. We've got cloudy skies. A good day to go out for a run and work out if you're so inclined. Temperatures holding in the low 50s right now. Now, it is a little warmer than we thought it might be today because we've seen some peaks of sun and it's actually helped to warm us up some. We're not going to get much warmer than this, though. 54 in Seguin, 48 still in Bernie and Kerrville, where it's 47 because the clouds are holding a little stronger there. As we look at the cloud cover, most of Bexar County is cloudy right now, although we're seeing a few breaks in the far southern reaches of the county. 59 in Pleasanton, where the sun has popped out. 54 Randolph, 54 in Seguin, 53 in New Braunfels. But cloudy and overcast. Bernie Stage 48 there, 51 and cloudy as you get out towards Hondo. And cloudy across most of our western counties. It's the southeastern portion of our viewing area where we've seen some clearing, although the clouds are trying to fill back in at this point. Here's what I think high temperatures look like today. Probably in the mid-50s here in San Antonio. Obviously some warmer numbers to the south, cooler numbers to the north. Still mostly a chilly day. But what about the rain? Well, it likely kicks in as we head towards, say, 4 or 5 o'clock. We'll start to see some very light showers developing, some sprinkles, maybe some drizzle, nothing heavy, but it could affect the evening commute. As we head into tonight, showers pick up. We start seeing more activity, and it gets a little more widespread by midnight. We could see some moderate rain mixed in there. But I don't anticipate any thunderstorms. That's probably going to be east of San Antonio, and that starts to take shape by tomorrow morning and quickly pushes out of the area. So some of our eastern counties could see a little bit more rain. This is 7 o'clock. And then by midday, we start to see the clouds go away, and then the sun comes out, and we have a beautiful Friday afternoon. And most of the weekend looks really good, too. So this times out pretty well. This is the storm system that we're watching that's going to help to kick up some of those showers tonight. Pretty far to the north, takes a track to the north, and that's why we're not seeing the bulk of the precipitation. But right now, snow is starting to sneak into parts of the Texas Panhandle, and that system will quickly race off to the north and east, producing thunderstorms as it does in places like New Orleans and Memphis tomorrow. And then this could be a bit of a snowstorm for the northeast. We clear out over the weekend, as I said, and then here comes our next storm system. This one is going to be a powerful one. Pulls into Texas Monday morning. Couple of things to look at here. Out ahead of it, severe weather possible in this area here, probably just east of San Antonio, but I think there is a window for us where we could see a couple of strong storms Monday morning. Then on the backside of this system, some very heavy snow in the Texas Panhandle, and it'll be very windy behind a frontal boundary. We'll still have some rain chances through about midday. Again, we'll watch for a few storms, but I think the bigger story with this is going to be the gusty winds Monday evening. Where we could see some big-time wind gusts. Take a look at this computer model. It puts wind gusts somewhere around 40 miles per hour overnight Monday into early Tuesday, potentially gusting as high as 50 miles per hour in some cases into Tuesday morning. So it'll be blustery, it'll be chilly, but it will be very windy. As we've been saying, if you haven't put up those Christmas decorations yet, now's probably the time because they may blow away Monday night. Here is a look at the 7-day forecast. 66 Friday, 67 Saturday, 66 Sunday. So some beautiful weather. Chilly mornings, but nice afternoons over the weekend. And then that storm system comes in, and we see a small chance of rain Monday morning. Turns windy and then cooler. Other thing I want to point out, Wednesday morning, in the wake of that system, we could be down near freezing, even here in San Antonio.
Yeah, look at that. 33. Thanks, Justin.
Some of the biggest names in high school football across the country are here in San Antonio for an all-star game. Also, some of the biggest names just from around our city in South Texas ready to play one more time. Previews of both coming up.